Welcome. Today we talk about the safety part, and at first we talk about the R32 refrigerant. And this presentation including the R32 features and installation and maintenance. At first we talk about the features of R32, and there is a table here. And for the R32, and we can see is GWP and ODP's value is very low, and compared R14A and R22. And for example, in the 1 kilogram R14A, the discharge into the air, and it caused by the greenhouse effect is equal to the 1,900 kilogram of the carbon dioxide discharge. But for the R32, it's just equal to the 580 kilogram. And there is a table here, the parameter of performance. Compared with R14A, the cooling and heating capacity of R32 is around 5 to 8% higher, and the discharge temperature is about 8 to 15 degrees higher. The power is 2 to 4% higher, and the COP and ER is much higher. And for the charging amount, for example, if R22 is 100%, and if you charge the R14A, it needs 113%, but for the R32, just 19% is okay. So it's lower in the amount, lower charging amount. And how we view the flammability of R32, and there is a table here. Flammability information for some flammable refrigerant, and we can see the R32 is here, and the safety group is A2. And practically limit is this one. And the flammability, we can see the lower limit and the upper limit. Okay, you can take this table for reference. And for example, if you have installed a wall-mounted type, and for example is 24,000 BTU, and a split type, and it should charge the 2 kilograms refrigerant. And but for R32, the flammable density range is 0.3 to 0.7. And but if for this split type, if the refrigerant liquid, if the refrigerant have a liquid, and in this room is around 0.119. So it's lower than the range. It's far lower than the range. And there is a table here. It's a minimum room area, and for the different type. And you can take this table for reference. There is a compared with other the ignition source, and we can see compared with home using gas, and if it's electric arc generated from AC relay, yes, if it's a home using gas, it can be ignited, but for the R32 it cannot be. Only if you use the sighted fire, it can be ignited. Only the sighted fire, and it can be ignited the R32. And for example, if unfortunately, and the R32 have a leakage, but don't worry, the spreading speed is very slow. Compared, for example, if your working speed is 4, and for the R32 is only 1.9. So if it have a leakage, don't worry, and it's very slow. Speed is very slow. Great R32 product safety guarantee is low gas charge, and the specialized compressor and lubricate oil, and special notice and warning label, and reliable electric control component safety design. And this compressor is the inner structure of the compressor. Specialize the compressor to ensure system stability and high efficiency. Specialize the lubricate the oil. And for the electric control components, and compared with R14A, the voltage resistance is 175 volts, but for the R32 is 600 volts. And the components on the PCB and for the R14A is no standard, but for the R32 is higher temperature resistance, higher insulation, and some parts like relay should be anti-explosive certificated. So this is the R32 product. And we have a special label and for the R32 product. And we have the certificate for our product, the safety certificate. And the refrigerant restore in our company, and it's special. And for the R32 product, the transport same as the general model, no special requirement. But the refrigerant tanks and transportation need to follow the rules of transportation law for dangerous product. And the staff must get through professional training and the examination, must done with warming attention on the job site, must keep good ventilation on the job site, must read carefully and strictly follow user manual or installed or service manual before operation, forbid breathing when there is refrigerant inside the unit. And there is some quiz questions. So DPR32 is 0, and the GWP of 32 is A 580. Compared with R14A, pressure of R32 is much around 3% higher. Compared with R14A, discharge temperature of R32 is around 8 to 15 degrees higher. And compared with R14A, refrigerant effect per kilogram refrigerant of R32 is around 500% higher. Compared with R14A, refrigerant charging amount of R32 is C, not sure. And then we talk about the installation part. For the installation part for the R32 product, and we should do the vacuum. If you forgot vacuum, it may be some air in the unit, and the pipes is very dangerous. So the vacuum is very important. And how to do the vacuum? And you can do the connection like this. Connect the gas valve when vacuum. And the vacuum time should be enough. Vacuum time should be enough. You can take this table for reference. If for the lower capacity is 15 minutes. And for the big capacity, it should be longer time, 25 minutes. Do the vacuum. We should make sure the vacuum degree meets the requirement, and the vacuum until gauge pressure it should lower than minus 0.1 megapascal, and after pressure maintaining for at least 5 minutes, and the gauge pressure should less than minus 0.08 megapascal. But if the gauge pressure is higher than the minus 0.08 megapascal after vacuum, and it means the vacuum is filled. So how to do it? Check if the hose was connected well or charge nitrogen, and then check liquid. it maybe have the liquid. And remove the gauge with correct method. If we remove the gauge directly in vacuum condition, it may be some air come into the system. So how to remove the gauge? You should open the liquid valve a bit and close it when the pressure reaches 0.1 megapascal, and then remove the gauge quickly. After that, open both gas and the liquid valve complete. We should avoid the air come into the system. Untighten the seal caps of valves and the service port for secondary seal. And there is the quiz questions. And the vacuum time for the 9K, it should be 15 minutes. And the pressure maintaining time after vacuum is, yes, A, 5 minutes. The pressure standard after maintaining is B, should lower than minus 0.08 megapascal. The method of remove pressure gauge after vacuum is, yes, is D. Open the liquid valve a bit and close it when the pressure reaches 0.1 megapascal. And no vacuum or insufficient vacuum may cause air to remain in the system. Yes, it is correct. The purpose for pressure maintaining after vacuum is liquid checking. Yes, it's correct. And then we talk about the maintenance of R32 product. Refrigerant recovery do not determine when to close the gas valve by experience. This is very important. You should according to the pressure value, and when you recover the refrigerant. It can avoid, when recovery the refrigerant, we should avoid the air come into the system. And how to do it? At first, you should cut off the power supply and then fasten the knob of pressure meter. Connect the hose to service port, then fasten. And then loose the hose connected to the pressure meter anti-clockwise a bit. When gas coming out for 2 seconds, fasten all of the hose. Then close liquid valve when pressure drops to 0.05 megapascal. Close gas valve immediately and cut off compressor power supply. Fasten hose, then check seal of contacting point. Make sure it is okay. And we should make sure when you operation do some maintenance for the R32 product, no smoking. This is very important. And when do the maintenance for R32, and you should make sure power off status and testing out the unit without connecting in the unit. Under this condition, running pressure raise and low pressure become negative, and there is potential that air will be sucked into the system and the shield temperature of compressor will increase as well. When charge refrigerant and calculate its amount and weight by digital scale. Prohibit fake or poor quality refrigerant for the R32. The quality of the R32 is very important. And we cannot use naked fire to heat refrigerant tank. And there is a table, it shows the R14A saturated pressure and temperature comparison table. and this is R32. You can take this for reference. And the mirror pressure or charge refrigerant, when mirroring pressure or charging refrigerant, it is better to add a safety valve to avoid air getting into the system or refrigerant leaking and freezing your hands. And the first step should cut off the power supply and then connect suitable safety valve to service port. Turn the knob counterclockwise and to the end at first. Connect the gauge hose to the safety valve. And follow the steps shown on the picture to evaluate air in the hose. And turn the knob counterclockwise to the end and then remove the pressure gauge hose. And then remove the safety valve at last. And do not add refrigerant if you are not sure if there is any leakage. And for example, and the phenomenon for the leaking refrigerant, and for example, if the poor cooling and heating performance or the display F0 or IE4 error code or failure occurs incorrectly, but the compressor it can still start up. An operation requirement, cooling or heating for 5 minutes with high speed, then detect the temperature difference between air inlet and outlet of indoor unit. If the temperature difference for cooling should be above 6 degrees and for the heating it should above 8 degrees. If not, measure the static pressure of the unit. And then turn off the unit, observe the static pressure 10 minutes later, and compare with the table on the right. If the value is lower than this table, and that means there is a serious shortage of the refrigerant. It's forbidden to turn on the unit and maintain under this condition. Release all refrigerant, then clock check all and fill the leakage. And some notice here, some quiz questions. The fake refrigerant may contain the highly flammable gas, make it dangerous. Before charging refrigerant, we need, evaluate air in the hose at first. No heat sources within 2 meters. When to close the gas valve depends on the pressure. Will refrigerant recovery? To ensure safety, do not recover refrigerant under negative pressure. Yes, this is correct. If you are not sure about the purity of the refrigerant, you can measure the pressure of the refrigerant tank and the ambient temperature compared with saturated pressure and temperature table. The pressure value is close to the compression, the table is normal. Okay, this part is R32 refrigerant part.